What is up, everyone, and welcome to my first ever live review of Smackdown or anything on this channel. This is the first time me doing this, and before we get into all this, I've got to take this off because it's blinding me at this point. But before we get into this, I want to say thank you to everyone, especially thank you for Tom Colligue for helping me come back into YouTube. I want to thank Ed Fries for giving me the balls to try and do this. I messaged him beforehand saying how nervous I was doing this. I want to thank Astrid, and I want to thank to our local establishment as well for watching their content, for how they're doing moving forward. If you don't know who they are, or if you don't know what they do, after this video, if you go onto my channel and go right down the bottom, there is a link to all of their channels that they do. I also put out a tweet today to say go and follow them as well on any social media that you can find from them as well. So in today's episode, we're going to be discussing all things that is Smackdown, as we have just witnessed. We will be discussing the return of Roman Reigns. We will be discussing lots of other things as well. What has actually happened? The two triple threat matches that come up to the main event to find who is the winner going on to Seth Rollins. More on that in a minute. We will be discussing Cameron Grimes' debut match. To the moon. And we will be discussing a lot more. But before we get into that, and I have never done this before, and I am shitting myself, not going to lie, we're going to play my intro. We're going to look, as we've got some comments on here as well. We're going to go through them comments, and then we're going to get straight into it. So, intro. Right, here we go. Let's go through. Ed got here very, very early, and he put, let's go. Justin, good show tonight. Then there was me. I don't need to put my one up. Justin, again, it was me just telling him what was going on. Awesome. Ed's here. Hello, Ed. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Aled is here as well. Hello, Aled. I've just seen that you've put your link into Tom's promotions for your podcast. I will be going to check that out after this, as well as the Wrestle Art podcast. Hello, hello, hello. Smackdown was a good show. It absolutely was. So, as we get into it, let's discuss the very first match that opened up Friday Night Smackdown. We are going to be discussing the AJ versus Edge versus Rey and Mysterio. In it, I'm going to be looking over here at times, just because I've written down a list of things that happened in matches. So I want to make sure that I give you what I think happened during that. And don't forget as well, while you're here, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And don't forget, you can write all the comments you want. We will read through them after each match. I want to hear your thoughts on it as well. And we might do a poll. And we can have a little chat as well going into Night of Champions, as we have a lot to discuss about Night of Champions coming up. So we kicked off with Edge versus AJ versus Rey, and I have to say that felt different compared to other triple threat matches. I felt that it was the normal formula that we have for a triple threat, especially in WWE, is they fight, two of them fight, one of them gets knocked out, and then the other two fight, and then they go back to fighting again, the other two, and it just, one person is always outside of the ring. But I felt like this was different. There was, I wouldn't say tag team maneuvers, but it was double moves without meaning it to be. It was, I think the one example I had here was, especially one of them, was AJ threw Rey out of the ring, was caught by Edge outside to do a DDT outside Tommaso Ciampa style, but then AJ then ran along, jumped through the middle rope and drop kicked Edge in the face, which then inverted Rey into doing a DDT, which I thought was a brilliant way of doing it. A lot of them's the triple pin. I think there was more than 3 or 4 times a pin happened, where one when Edge tried to pin AJ, then rolled into Rey trying to pitch N, and it's sort of backwards and forwards and rolled around. And yes, what you will understand during this is there will be a lot of hand movements going around. this whole thing. So I do apologize with that as well. And then we sort of come back to the ad break, and there's AJ and Ray on the outside of the ring, and Edge just comes through with a double spear onto it. I felt after the video that Edge put out on Twitter or Instagram or wherever he put it out on during the week, I really felt we were going to get Edge versus Edge getting through to the final. As he said in his video where he put out on Twitter, if he wins, when he wins the world title, he was going to use that, and then when he loses it, bye-bye Edge. That's how I felt this was going to go. And during that, that's how it felt it was going as well at the same time. And it just felt that this was going to be it. And then there was like a double hurricanrana. So Edge had AJ, and then it was like a double hurricanrana from Ray to do a 619. And then for some reason, it hit the 619 on Edge. And then Ray tried to go for like a DDT off the top rope, but missed, which then led to Edge standing up, getting a phenomenal forearm, and we have our winner, which was AJ Styles. And I have to say, especially what Justin has put here, the opener was a banger. Alid said exactly the same thing, and then agreed. They felt like a three-way throughout. Yeah, it really did. It did feel like there was a proper three-way match. It felt like there was a really thought about trying to get away from that WWE formula of winning, the way WWE try and do triple threat matches, and sort of did it their own. We've got in that ring at that time two Hall of Famers and one future Hall of Famer. And it felt like it. It felt like everyone knew what they were doing, how they were going to do it, and everyone was just on their game trying to do it throughout. So for me, I thought that was, pardon the pun, phenomenal. Yep. I went there. So next up, we went from there into Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley versus Sheamus. This felt like the WWE formula. This went back to the WWE formula that they didn't do in the previous one. It was either Sheamus versus Austin, it was either Lashley versus Austin, or Sheamus versus Bobby. It felt that formula that WWE loves to go through. And I thought it was very clever that Austin Theory just jumped out the ring to start off with and just said, do you know what? You guys go at it. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not doing this. I'm not getting involved in this. I'm not doing anything about this. Yeah, Justin's right. I just saw, put this up. Yeah, really, there wasn't that much promo in this. It was like, right, we have two brilliant matches that we have to get to, and they got to it. And I thought it was a real great way to do it, to go straight into it and trying to escape. And then Sheamus and Lashley go outside the ring and beat him down, throw him out the ring. And then we got Lashley versus Sheamus, as I like to call it, big men slapping meat. And they were big men really slapping meat against each other. And I thought it was a brilliant way to do it. And I would like to see Sheamus versus Lashley more, only if Lashley loses. I just can't, I don't feel Lashley at all. Like, I understand he's good, and he is very, very good, but there's just, for me, there's something missing. I can't put my finger on what's missing. I don't know what it could be. It just, I think personality-wise, that for me, that could be it. It's the personality. I just feel like he's lacking something. He needs that manager type. He needs an MVP. He needs the Hurt Business. Can you imagine him, Omos, Cedric, Shelton, all in a group? That could dominate, especially that Cedric and Shelton and Bobby, no, not Bobby, and Omos are all free agents. Could easily be done there, Triple H. Easily be done there. But then we get Austin Theory throwing Bobby Lashley into the steel steps, and with that, busted his head wide open. Not as bad as what happened to Brock, but did bust him bit open for it to really hurt, which I thought was unintentional. But you felt like something went wrong because Sheamus and Theory went in the ring and they were going at each other for a while. And to finish it all off, Lashley had Austin in the Hurt Lock, which then Sheamus then come into the ring, bro-kicked Austin Theory in the face while in the Hurt Lock. Lashley let go of that, threw Sheamus out the ring, and pinned Austin Theory 1, 2, 3. So yeah. Lashley won. Thank you, Ed. That does mean a lot. I did message him before saying I was shitting my pants doing this. So it does mean a lot that he's watching and really doing it. But as we all know, he is on SmackDown and he is back next week. The Grayson Waller effect. Why? How does that get rid of like the whole background? I am Jesus. Okay, I shouldn't be learning that because if I do that, I will be doing it a lot more. But I do like the fact that with the overlay that I can just become I am the one. Anyway, so Grayson Waller will be back next week doing the Waller effect, saying that he wants to do that with the winner between AJ and Bobby to be on the show for the first time in SmackDown. Interesting. Grayson Waller goes off to SmackDown. There's no talk show. So on SmackDown, they've got the Supernova sessions. The Miz is on Raw. They need something for SmackDown. Why not have the problem child of NXT? He is the problem child. He is the biggest pain in the ass NXT has ever seen. Yep, Justin is loving me being Jesus. And I'm loving it. And I think I'm not going to spoil it. If you haven't seen the finish already, go check the finish out now because we will be talking about that later. But we've gone from one NXT to another one, and this guy went to the moon. Fuck me, I can't get any cheesier, can I? Well, we're about to find out if I can get a little bit more cheesier because Baron Corbin come out and said that Grayson Waller. Yeah, they were. I just saw the comment from from Ed, sorry. Very, very good. They were. You can see Adam Pearce is trying to let Grayson do his bit and just sit there and sort of let Grayson talk, and that's all you need to do. And I think the one thing WWE need to do is get out of Grayson Waller's way. Let him do what Grayson can do best, and that's talk shit. Whether you like it or you don't like it, just let him talk shit. Let him get in your face. Let him moan at you. Let him just say stuff. I think it's a great way to carry on this and moving this forward as well. So, as we were saying, going to the moon with Cameron Grimes. I've just literally lost my track of thought. Baron Corbin come on the microphone saying he's the very last pick, Mr. Irrelevant. Well, technically, Grayson Waller is the last pick, and he is Mr. Irrelevant according to the draft terms. But TV time, last pick, and it lasted, 3 seconds? Corbin put the mic down, run towards Cameron Grimes, and he caved him in and pinned him very quickly. To Justin's comment here, I kind of wish we got an actual match. Yes and no. I think this helps Cameron Grimes a lot more because now WWE fans who don't watch NXT, not the regulars, the occasional fans that have just turned up to have a look at who's coming next, they got to see Cameron Grimes' brutal finisher, and it will intrigue them more. I think that's what WWE are going for, and that's what I can sort of see happening. This is not going to stop. We are going to get a Baron Corbin versus Cameron Grimes match, a proper match, I think, soon, where they can let Cameron Grimes really show what he can do, and let Baron Corbin sort of beat Baron Corbin in a heelish way and sort of try and get him going, because I know from the Tom Colohue and spoiler warning, there isn't much that they've got planned for Baron Corbin at the moment. So I think the best thing that they can do for Baron Corbin now is just let him put over talent. Let him do what Dolph Ziggler does. Put him in the ring with talent that needs help. Kind of like what they do with Natalya on the women's division, where if you're new, you go up against her, you beat her, you then go on to the next thing. I think that's what they're trying to do with Baron Corbin. He's massively over in France, so I don't know whether that's going to be thing for them in the future, but we will see. Right, we've had a comment here from Ed. Let's read this through. They went for shock and awe. I'm okay with that. At least they put Grimes over instead of Corbin. Yeah, and I think you're right there. I think that is probably what they've tried to do. Shock and awe. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Best use of Corbin. Yeah, put him in like a talent, put him over talent. I think that's the best thing for you to do with him, is to make sure he puts talent over. The way he sells and his finisher, it's someone that needs to be helping others. And he seems to be like a person that is happy to do that type of thing as well. And it was really good to see. I love Baron Corbin. Is he underutilized? I don't know. I think we have to wait and see. Once they get a good character with him, I know WWE don't like to go back on what they did before, but I do want to see the Lone Wolf again. I did like the Lone Wolf, but then we all had to, just before the final draw, before the hour 2, my hand has disappeared because he is God. Why has my finger disappeared? There we go. And Jesus again. Anyway, we had to acknowledge the tribal chief as he is out. And this, I wrote a lot of notes on this because I wanted to make sure we got it. Yeah, and then I'm also going to do a poll in the comment section after this. And I want to see you guys voting on this and tell me what you guys think. So, Roman just come out to the ring, was soaking it all in, making the crowd wait, making the crowd sort of build up anticipation for when he talks, and then told Knoxville, is that how you say it? That's Kane, isn't it? Isn't he the mayor? Less said about that. Roman said that they are the only group in the history of WWE and the history of WrestleMania to have the same family main event WrestleMania. And yeah, it is right. Good placement for a draw segment. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with that. I wasn't expecting him. I thought he would come out later on, but very good to keep the crowd and keep the fans at home wanting more. That really shocked me. So yeah, he's the only group and the only family that have wrestled on WrestleMania main events. And then the only person out of the bloodline since Roman hasn't been around that has stepped up is Solo Sikoa. Roman Reigns blames all the problems. He doesn't blame it on Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn. He blames it on the Usos. He's saying the Usos are the wrong. Why are they dedicating a match to the tribal chief when he has never been in a tag team? Where he's never. Well, I've just thought this back. He has been in a tag team. He was with the Shield. Did he win? He won the tag titles. Did he wear the tag titles though, or was that Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins? Someone put in the comments, because they won the tag titles, because I remember them winning. Because they lost to Cody Rhodes and Goldust, didn't they? At one point, was it there? Yeah, it was them, wasn't it? That put them over. Anyway, so let me know, please, because I'm going off on a tangent here. And Roman Reigns wants an apology from Jimmy and Jay just for them disrespecting the bloodline and for them dedicating a match to Roman Reigns when he's the greatest solo competitor that WWE history. Get on board with that. Nothing wrong with that. With Jimmy laughing, didn't really take him seriously. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did win it. Why is he... Anyway, he wants to ignore the show and never talk about them again. Fair enough. Fair play. With that, Jimmy thinking it was funny the way that Roman was talking to him and the way Roman was dealing with it, and he started laughing, which then Roman said, "Do you think I'm a clown? Why do you think I'm a clown? This is not a clown," and shoved Jimmy in the face, which then led to Jimmy standing by the rope and the crowd chanting, "Do something, do something." Which then, when he was about to do something, Jay got in the way and said, "I apologize, my tribal chief." Right, history lesson. If we go all the way back, and I'm going pandemic era, long time ago, pandemic era bloodline Roman Reigns. If we remember, Jimmy come back from injury and was being all mouthy to Roman, and Jay was the one that protected his brother again. So we're going full circle on what happened before, which is interesting because this feels like the begin, and I know I've said this probably every week. This is the beginning of the end for the bloodline, and to do that is to really go back to the beginning of how it all started. Which then the tribal chief told Paul Heyman to make an announcement, and that announcement. Yeah, I was reading the comment. I need to put this on. Love this segment though. Didn't they mute the crowd at one point and accidentally muted Jay? I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I think I was just too soaked into what Roman Reigns was doing. But yeah, the crowd were just shouting "what" the whole time. Better than what they had on Monday Night Raw, let's put it that way. And with that being announced, Paul Heyman has announced at Night of Champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will be going to Saudi Arabia to face Solo and Roman Reigns. Yep. Sami Zayn's going to Saudi. So, before Smackdown even happened, there was a report that I put into the Tom Colohue Discord that Sami Zayn is allowed back to is allowed in Saudi Arabia, and as Saudis and Saudi have made a deal with Sami Zayn that they will make a considerable amount of money donation to Sami Zayn's charity for them to be in it. Another point that was done, and another point that has been pointed out by WrestleOps, is for those confused about Sami Zayn all of a sudden working in Saudi Arabia shows now, a reason to clear the hint that the clearance. A few days ago, after more than a decade later, Saudi Arabia and Syria have decided to resume diplomatic working relations in both countries. So that probably happened, and then Sami Zayn gone, "Okay, I'll come back," and then Saudi gone, "Yeah, we want Sami Zayn because he's a massive draw. We'll give him money because we have all the money in the world." Literally. I'm very happy that they come to do this. With that being done, we are getting ever step closer to what could be happening. So this is the first time I'm doing this. Who do you think is walking out Night of Champions, Tag Team Champions? Right, walking out NOC with tag titles. Zayn, Sami and I can't fucking spell. And KO or Roman and Solo. Right. I have put it in the chat. Go and do a vote. Vote in the chat where you think this is going to happen or what you think could happen. And then we will have a look at that in a minute. But we're going to move on. Yeah, Sami Zayn going to Saudi. I am shocked, as he said he would never work there, and then somehow yeah, I am extremely shocked. We'll have a look at that poll in a few minutes after we talk about the women's tag team title match. We had Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan versus Dakota Kai and Bayley. As we all know, as it was mentioned a few times in the comments on commentary, that Dakota Kai and Raquel Rodriguez were also NXT Women's Tag Champions, and I think they did it twice, and both times was for like a day. Yeah. So, and then backstage we had the famous stand by a television like this, and apparently you watch telly like this. I don't think unless I'm with a friend's house and they have like that corner sofa, I've ever watched a telly like this. Also, I can point at things. Why does my hand disappear? I'm going to palm it. Anyway, this is why I shouldn't be allowed new things or learn new things, because this stuff happens. Yeah, so women's tag team titles, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire were watching on, holding the NXT tag team titles. Are we getting a unification match? Is Isla Dawn and are they gonna be defending it on NXT? All the NXT women's tag teams have moved on, so are they going to make a brand specific tag team where they can have the Smackdown women's tag team titles and the Raw women's, I was about to say the Raw Smackdown women's tag titles, the Raw women's tag team titles as well, which will make more women on TV? I don't think so. I think we're going to go for that. The one thing I will say, and what I have observed from what I find, is Raquel Rodriguez or Gonzalez and Liv Morgan are getting better and better as a tag team. They have great moves together. They work well together. It is like chalk and cheese of personalities which gel really well. You've got the big, strong brute in Raquel Rodriguez, and you've got the nifty, I think that's the best way to put it, the nifty one in Liv Morgan, to go on sort of fight and do like the little bumps and doing stuff like that. I thought it was really good when I've seen it a couple of times now, but I love it every time that Raquel Rodriguez uses Liv Morgan as a battering ram. It's just like, she's small, she can fly, let's just use her. And then the ending, Dakota Kai went on Liv Morgan to do like a cave-in type thing, like Cameron Grimes off Bayley's shoulders. It seemed to sort of get injured, but also faked it. And I'm like, is this actually? Are you actually injured or are you not? And then she sort of rolled out injured with a tag title in her hand. And then Io Sky comes on the rope holding the tag title. It was a bit like what happened at Backlash, and tried to help. But then Raquel Rodriguez saw what was happening, ripped off, got Dakota Sky off the ropes. She fell on the floor, charged after Dakota Sky, clotheslined her, and then Liv Morgan rolled Bayley up to get the pin. So it seems that there are fractions in Damage Control, which we have been saying for a while, and there has been reports for a very long time to do it. We've got 2 comments here so far. Glad they took down the barrier. Absolutely. We want to see peace. We want to see what's going on. Let's hope that they can resolve these differences and whatever goes on and whatever happens more in the future. That'd be great. Highlight for me was yeah, absolutely. I do want to see more. I want to see more from them. I want to see where they go with this. I think it's going to be interesting. What they do. I am very intrigued of, are they going to unify them or not? And that's my opinion on that. I have no clue. I think it would be a bad idea because I still think NXT needs a tag titles, because I feel like you need to create more tag teams in NXT to then bring them up to then make it credible in a way, make it more credible for the tag team division. Who knows? My boys are here. Pretty Deadly, taking the absolute piss out of the Brawling Brutes. Loved every minute of that. I just love Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly are what I would class as gold. They are what I want to be if I was beautiful. Simple as that. And I've seen them live and I love every inch of them. They are so entertaining. It is unreal. And we move on for the most entertaining tag team that has ever been to the poll. Let's have a look at this poll. So at this poll, people were voted, and at this precise moment, 100% of people are saying Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Love it. I would like to know how they're going to retain. Are Jimmy and Jay going to be the ones that cost Roman and Solo? Are they going to be the ones that try and help but really mess it up and then Solo takes the pin or cause a disqualification, which means Roman and Solo can't get it, and it also still puts over Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? Pretty Deadly are so much fun. They are what I call beautiful. In every sense of the word. They are epic. So then we go on to Bianca's celebration. They did the whole ring with balloons. She comes out doing all that, getting her hometown crowd really happy. And as Ed will find out in a few weeks' time, the hometown crowd will be disappointed. Breaker. Where we saw that Asuka come out before Bianca could even talk, and then sprayed mist in Bianca's face, and Bianca oversold that by a mile. I have never heard so much screaming and moving around for someone who was meant to wipe their face with a towel and just sort of went like that. Never seen it. Don't clip that. Yeah. Brilliant. Loved it. We are now, as Tom Colohue reported about a month ago, I think, even after WrestleMania, that they were looking at turning Asuka heel to dethrone Bianca Belair. I need a drink. Oh. So, on next week's SmackDown, we have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens going face to face with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Because we've never seen Roman Reigns and Solo face to face with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, have we? We're also getting the Grayson Waller effect. For the winner of the main event will be facing Seth Rollins, but they will be a guest on the Grayson Waller effect. And we also can know now that we will have the LWO with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar versus the Usos. And please, for the love of God, find a way for the LWO to win. Yes. Hashtag told. Tom told us first. Absolutely right. What are you guys looking forward to most next week? I think mine's the Grayson Waller effect, just because it's Grayson Waller. Then we go into the main event. Have to say this was a lot slower paced, and it was a lot slow. If you compare this match to Monday's main event between Seth Rollins and who the fuck did Seth Rollins main event with? Finn Balor. Jesus fucking Christ. My brain just did not want to function there whatsoever. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. More than anything. Versus Finn Balor, that was really fast paced. That was really fast going, non-stop, trying to get over one on top of Seth Rollins, and I thought that was a great way to do it. And this match was very slower. This was the first part of the match before the commercial break, was very much Bobby Lashley beating down AJ and using his strength and the way he can do it to sort of demolish AJ Styles in a way. And I thought it was brilliant the way they did it. Then AJ then started to attack the legs of Bobby Lashley, which I thought was great as well, going after his legs, taking him down, and sort of beating it and going for it and just trying their best to take down the giant in a way. The calf crusher as well to Bobby Lashley, really working on that leg, and then the hurt lock got put in, which then AJ found a very creative way of getting out of it, and that was just basically go through the middle rope, which then had to be counted out as it is a singles match as well. And then as AJ was going for the phenomenal forearm, he got caught, and then the final end segment done it, and then AJ then was able to hit the phenomenal forearm for us to get the win. So that means, and it was clean. There was no interference. There was no distraction for Bobby Lashley, apart from his head being bust open again, which I'm very surprised about. But this means one thing. My God, we're in for a great night. I don't care what anyone says. Seth versus AJ is going to be amazing. I can't stress this enough. This match is going to be awesome. Every sense of the word. Everything about this match screams match of the year. Seth Rollins, top of his game right now. AJ Styles just coming back and still will be able to go on top of everything. We haven't seen the Styles clash in a very long time. Seth Rollins is using the pedigree for winners and the stomp. We don't know how this is going to go. All we know is whoever wins will be on Raw with that title. Yeah. I think you're right. I think Seth is going to win this and become the first ever world heavyweight champion. And I just, the way I see this playing out is Seth wins the gold, Cody wins Money in the Bank, and cashes in on Roman at SummerSlam. He won't announce it. I think it will be Roman versus Jay at SummerSlam. I think it will be a hell of a fight. And at the end of that, Roman will be struggling to be able to walk out. Cody will come down, cash in, move to SmackDown as Roman will go bye-byes, and then we will see Gunther versus Seth at WrestleMania for the world title. I'm saying Gunther versus Seth for the world titles because I want Gunther to be world champion and I don't want his first match for him to lose. And then you could have Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania for Roman's rematch that he never got because he fucked off. And then you can do a Cody versus Roman part 2 at WrestleMania where Cody finally beats Roman Reigns in a fair one-on-one match for the WWE Universal Championship. And then at Survivor Series, you can have Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes part 3. Fuck me, I'm just booking the year, aren't I? Yeah, you could have that Survivor Series, because he cashed in at SummerSlam, you could then have Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, no, Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes at Survivor Series for the trilogy, the end of the trilogy, and then you could have at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns versus Cody part 2, and you could have Gunther winning the Royal Rumble, which will then set up Gunther versus Seth Rollins in a world title where then Gunther will win the title and hold it for about 9 years. See? If I was WWE, that's how I would look at booking it. That's how I would look at getting this done and ending the story and gaining more people to watch WWE, and you then satisfied the casuals and the hardcore fans by playing it out like this. But then would you have war games as in Seth Rollins' team versus Cody Rhodes' team for a war games match at Survivor Series? And then you could have Bianca's team versus if she's still champion or not. If she isn't, and Asuka's, you could have Rhea Ripley's team versus Asuka's team in a War Games women's match. That could be fun. Anyway, so yeah, that's how we're going. We're getting Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles at Night of Champions. So, who do you think is going to win? Justin's already said that he's got Seth Rollins winning, and I think Ed is going with the same as well. So, yeah, so with that will be the end of my first ever live SmackDown review. So thank you guys ever so much for joining me today. Don't forget, up here, when I become God again. Oh no. It's not doing it now. Why am I not Jesus? Anyway, up here are all the links to all of my social media pages. Please, if you could, go and give us a follow, give me a like, and go and follow all of these as well. I did a TikTok the other day where I had 40,000 views. And then the one after that, I got 300. I have no idea how TikTok works anymore. We've got a couple of comments here before we go. Night of Champions is going to be great. Absolutely. A great time. Hopefully I'll see you guys again. You've been absolutely phenomenal with all the questions. It has really helped me get through this as well. Great show. Thank you, Ed, for giving me the confidence of doing this. So thank you guys ever so much. So with that, as it says here, Mark Talks Wrestling. I've got to remember, this is backwards to me. Here we go. Don't forget to go and give it a follow. And yes, with that, thank you guys ever so much for joining me today. Don't forget to go and give a follow to all those channels I said at the beginning. The link is at the homepage. If you scroll down the bottom, go and give them a follow. Go and give them a like as well. And follow them on YouTube, Twitch, if they have Twitch or Twitter or any other social media platforms they are on as well. Don't forget, we are back on Monday for you Americans. Tuesday early morning for us in the UK. Watching Monday Night Raw. I'm going to see if I can do a live. If not, I'm just going to go back to what I did before with my reviews and do it that way. And we might just do a SmackDown review live just for SmackDown. Yeah, that might be the only way we go for the time being. But yeah, thank you guys ever so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you for the next one.